Hello. It is hot today and I'm gonna be sweating and my Play-Doh is soft and nice. And I want to talk about the identification processes in people. This constant identifying with certain things, with certain behavior, certain groups, certain clothes, all kinds of social behavior and all of this, all that social behavior that I constantly observe in the world, and lately been in chat rooms and I observe people. And when they see that I'm observing them, they get even more tense, and that is not my intention. I don't want people to get more tense. So I talk a bit about myself, about my own life, to take that edge off, this edge of here is someone observing you. You are naked and I am dressed and I see you and I see what you're doing, and this, ooh, this is spooky, scary, hurting my ego, ta-ta, so that's what's going on. And instantly they become more guarded, they become very triggered, they become hostile, they start to insult out of like what seems to other people like, dude, man, where does this insult where is that coming from out of the blue now? And what's going on in here? Why are people so pissed? Nothing happened. Well, seemingly nothing happened, but something internally happened. I question society. I question things. And society is the people in the chat room, okay? So, and each individual person feels personally offended, personally attacked by all of this. And it's, I don't know what to do. It's like some people, they will say, oh, don't hurt their egos, you gotta be real careful how there comes a point where, in order for me to say something, for me to drive from A to B and so on, all the way down the alphabet, I have to actually say something. I can't be saying something if I don't say something. I hope that makes sense. So I already I practice nonviolent communication. I practice Buddhist communication. I practice mindfulness communication. I practice breathing and anapana and being fairly tolerant with people. It's like, if they want to smoke marijuana or pierce their bodies, if they want to do that kind of self-sabotage, I'm fairly tolerant with this. I'm not going over there and saying, you are bad because you do this or whatever. It's your business, it's your life. Just don't pierce someone else. Don't pierce your children. Don't tattoo your children. Don't talk your children into tattooing themselves, or don't don't talk your children into taking drugs. Don't be If you want to party, don't have children. Okay, so that's the number one thing for me to emphasize and try to get that across into people. So, but yeah, your body is precious, and I recommend not putting the gun on your head. I recommend, like this here, the penis gun. So I recommend to you, whether you accept that recommendation or not, that's your business, okay? But I recommend to you, okay, that, hey, this thing works and this thing doesn't work. But then again, don't religiously project something into this and think now we have to make a religion out of it or something. Okay, I'm neither a guru or a diva, certainly not, or a some kind of dominatrix, or some men act like this almost, they sexualize everything. Everything is then being sexualized. Some men sexualize because that's like, because that way they can sort of, the ego can come to peace again, and put this all, everything I said, throw this all into the sexual drawer. Like, that's just fapping material, what I say there. That's just, she's just material. And then they can put this, they can wash themselves free from responsibility, because deep down they know that what I'm saying is true. They don't want to acknowledge though, because they don't want to take the responsibility. So they'll push this into the sexual drawer. That's easier for them. Then they can look down on me. They're like, hey, like whatever, the sexualization, roosting, rudeness type of talk. So then they can like, yeah, you're fat, you need to be banged. Yeah, you are bent over backwards, bent over forward, bent over, baby. That's what they say. So instead, I'm bending over backwards to get out of my way to help and teach a message. They come at me with these sexualizations and projections, and then they think if they do that, they don't have to own up to anything I said. They don't have to take that seriously, what I said. And it's just their own loss with this, because what I'm saying here is not something that a guru said, or that I am not. It's not that dominatrix or guru or this or that or new religion or whatever. That's not what it is. What I'm saying is something that I know for sure, for fact, but it's not like I'm coming across as this over God or something. It's like, that's not what this is about. It is about, I'm a regular person. I tried things for myself, okay? Things work 100%, but that doesn't mean I'm forcing anyone to do it. I see the whole picture, so I'm concerned, very concerned, that people are not living in that pure way. Very concerned for the whole world, because everything is dependent on that. Everything. That's why I'm so concerned. It's your world, okay? It's your life. It's your bodies, okay? You can make it better. It's just it's an invitation. I'm inviting you to choose paradise over suffering. Yeah, it's that much of a difference between hey, you better smoke one. I'm never going to smoke one, and I'm never going to lean back and say, it's all relative, old hippie man, put your whatever, Peter, Paul, and Mary on. I like the music, but and smoke one and have a good time. No. Okay, there were a lot of those today. A lot of those in their 60s and 70s. Smoke one and lean back. That's what you have done your entire life. And not only have you smoked one, you have taken ayahuasca. You have taken, this is my message to the oldies, the old-timer druggies out there, okay? Like, that's what you've done your entire friggin' life. You have, in your entire life, you have smoked one, you've leaned back, you have partied, and you have taken ayahuasca, you have taken LSD, you've taken psilocybin, you've taken it all. Salvia divinidorum, what else? Everything out there. That's including spoiled banana leaves with pesticides on it. You've done it all. You've fried your brain, and then you go, and then the caring gets like from normal to like this, like it's all relative. That's us. That attitude is so incredibly easy to choose. This attitude is like it's it's because of that attitude that the world is a mess. Okay, and you think that so one person less caring, it doesn't make a difference. Yes, it does. It makes a difference whether one person more cares or whether one person less cares. That immediately that has a result. Okay, this has a ripple effect. And then when we have everyone with that same attitude, it's all relative anyway, and whatever, and get into Buddhism. That's not the Buddhist. That's not what Gautama Buddha said. To smoke one and lean back. That's not what he said. He actually said, stay away from any kind of toxin, from any kind of substance, and that makes a hell of a lot of sense. But it's like the ego, the complacency, the greed, the selfishness always takes over, and in people, and then they will get into a state of denial. They will change what someone else has said that made a lot of sense. They'll change that around for their own pleasure, for their own benefits. We've seen that a lot. It's happened a lot. So, and then particularly after that person, whatever, someone said something and said something true, and people will then go, yeah, we'll put him on a pedestal or her, and after they died, then we'll make a religion out of it and mold it in our personal selfish favors. Yeah. Personal selfish pleasures, and it's happening over and over and over again. I am not anti-hedonistic. I am a hedonist myself. I am total. I sleep 12 hours. I completely pamper my body, and everyone should do the same. Everyone should do that. You need to eat healthy food. You need to drink a lot of watermelon blended. You have to do this. And you need to follow your physical needs and all of this. You need to do this. As long as you don't hurt anyone, as long as you don't hurt your own body. So give your own body pleasure is what I'm saying. It's like whatever it is, sexual pleasure or eating or perfume oils, whatever it is, give your body that. It's all good. So I'm not some kind of, I get very easily misunderstood with what I say. Very easily. For people it's very stereotypical. It's either this or it's this. It's either all the way this or all the way this. Okay? There's a smart path in between and above and beyond. That's the same with political parties. There's a smart path in between and particularly above. But people don't see it. It's because it's above their heads. They don't see it, it's beyond the radar. That's why. But there is a path that works for everything. For democracy, for politics, for social management, for interaction between people. There is the right path, the noble path for everything. Okay, the most elegant, noble path for everything. There is a noble, elegant, wonderful, and like paradise solution for every problem. But the first step is I have to recognize that there is a problem. Okay. And then someone else will say, "You dork, you party pooper." And they become very, very disrespectful in their wording. Very, very aggressive, even the leaned back, the one with his peace pipe, even he will come out of his rocking chair when I come into the chat room. Even he will get pissed, but then he goes, "Oops, I better not show that I'm pissed." So that they'll do these covert insults, the covert rudeness, because the ego is very, very. These people they're socially so trained, yeah, socially trained and also socially very intelligent. So there's a social intelligence, but it's not they're not using it to move things forward. They're using it actually to go backwards. So their social cunningness or smartness is just like a sharp observer, but it's always the ego observing. The ego is observing, someone pointed something out, I better not go take that route. So then she pointed out something else. Now I can't go that route. I can't insult her now, because then she'll point out to me that I must be triggered because I'm insulting. This is how it goes with that ego, non-stop. What kind of pressure is this? What kind of lifestyle is that you constantly have to be on guard, constantly guarding yourself from the possibility of feeling shame? Why do you see that there's shame underneath that drives you into patching that up, into hiding, into running away from it, and escape mechanisms? Do you see that there is pain underneath? So that's what I'm trying to point out to the world. And it's not an attack against a person or against a group, or this is an observation that I have, that I offer to the world. An observation and an invitation to make things better. That's all it is. I'm a messenger. I'm a regular person, and I observe things, and I've come around and I have studied stuff. I've read books. I have compared things. I didn't read books religiously. I don't do anything religiously. I read something and then I find out for myself. In the same sense, I'm bringing a message across to the public, and I say, find out for yourself. But the least you have to do, the least I'm asking from you is to not escape, to not run away from me or from my message. That's all I'm asking. Don't insult me now and run off with that. Don't become extremely disrespectful. That's an escape mechanism. Then you're not, if you become extremely disrespectful, I'm talking to the haters in the chat room. And even the leaned back hippie can become a hater very quickly, okay, when I point these things out. Because they don't want these things being pointed out. That's what they're running away from. But if you don't run away from this anymore, if this running away from this, the escape mechanisms, if you just one time a day practice not running away from this, just for an hour a day not to smoke one, and not to lean back, and not to go into this or this or this or that act out, or the self-drugging and pleasuring in order to escape. So that's what I'm trying to say. So in that sense, and if you do that meditation every day, you'll be surprised. That is self-love. That is real joy. That's real pleasure and joy and wellness, wholesome wellness. Your life will become so much better. You have no idea. You have absolutely no idea. I see even Tony Robbins getting ridiculed because and he is he's just a coach. He's completely on the corporate, you know, on the money making and on the hedonistic selfishness trained side. So, and they make fun of him even because he says some things that are absolutely true and absolutely right on. Okay, and that are also pointing in the direction of breathing exercises and meditation. Okay, but that's what people they must be so terrified of that if someone even mentions this, that they'll rather go into the insult mode and into reverse than to ever even try this. So, and Tony Robbins is certainly not going into a chat room and doing love trolling like I am doing. No, he every second of his life he is giving presentations and making a humongous amount of money with this. This is very smart, very cool. I don't take a penny. Okay, I give this information for free because I'm afraid. I'm afraid for the world. I'm deeply concerned. Deeply concerned. I go to bed at night. I cry. I pray to my blue God. I say, please end suffering in the world. I got energies coming to me and they ask me things and I answer. Sometimes I wake up talking and I'm amazed. Wake up talking to different entities. And some of them want to know, they really do want to know. But then when I say, give them the real answer, then the ego doesn't want to hear it. So. But I'm making a video right now. Okay. So the sweat is running down my cheeks, but that's okay. This is so incredibly important for me to make these videos. I feel like it's kind of like the way it is for me to make videos against all odds of, low self-esteem, shyness, and awkwardness, and all of this. I used to be even more awkward because it all felt also very unnatural for me to speak. Because I've been shamed in my life, as almost everyone has. But people then later on, we have different brains. It's also genetic. Then we act things out differently. Some people process things differently. It gets routed through different channels and different abilities and so on. So for me, it's very difficult. But I do this because I'm like, to bring this into a real clear schematic to understand what it's like for me. It's like, I don't know if I can explain or teach compassion. I don't know if love can be taught. That's the thing. So if someone doesn't have that ability to love, to feel compassion, how can I teach this? But I'll try anyway, because what else I don't have any other option, right? So What other option? I'm not a relativist. I'm not leaning back and saying, just drink your hot chocolate or tea and lean back and it's all relative anyway. No, it's not me. Okay, it's not. I see things are unfolding and they're they're going in a specific direction. With global warming, suffering, Muslim agenda, hate, corporate agenda taking over, slandering things, slandering everyone on the planet who cares, who makes a difference, who gives, who loves, who gives things, who makes things easier. Those people are targeted and slandered the most. So right now, the Elon Musk is what they are mostly afraid of. Elon Musk and Donald Trump is what they're mostly. Those two people, they're absolutely terrified of these two people, and they were also terrified of Alex Jones, and that's why they spent a heck of a lot of money, and all the social media networks gotten together, the CEOs, and they did massive hand washing action against Alex Jones, and they all kicked him out at the same time. And no one, just a handful of people said something. Just, I don't know, 100 people maybe that stood up and said, hey, this is censorship, this is not okay. Even some people that didn't like Alex Jones stood up and said something. But the rest of everyone else says, just smoke one and lean back. Yes, okay, then you will get the government you deserve. Okay, yes. If that's what you want to do, you get shit in your life. Okay. You are asking for it. And so, yeah, and that seems to be the majority of humans. They lean back. They look down on anyone. Are you doing an Aaron Brockovich? That used to be going on for a while now. That has faded away. People don't even know anymore who that is. So that has faded off with the new generations and all of this. But that Aaron Brockovich was an activist who made a huge difference. Got toxins out of their water supply, and then people make fun of her. I mean, it's this kind of stuff that you understand how much that pisses me off, and how incredibly irritating that is when I see society, when I see this enormous immaturity in people. They make fun of someone who actually helps you, who saves your freaking ass, okay, and your lungs and your skin and your health, and you make fun of these people. That's what makes me so incredibly irritated. I see this going on all over the place. I see that the corporate agenda, they have their filthy fingers in all of this as well. And they know exactly how people can be so easily manipulated also in these directions of peer pressure. They are the ones, they come up with these brainstorms. They come up with these focus groups which they don't even need to do anymore. They have their own brainstorm, focus, backroom, corruption things going on, and their observation on the internet. No, they don't even need focus groups for this. They used to pay people to come in, and then they would have like a hidden camera. David Foster Wallace talked about this too in one of his books, because he attended one of those just out of curiosity. And then, yeah, smart and observant, he saw that there are cameras, and they were actually mostly interested in what people are talking about in the so-called coffee breaks. So where they were not answering, and then in the actual sessions where they were answering questions, that was more like they were also monitoring, but they were mainly interested in what people were talking among each other in the coffee breaks. So, but the average person doesn't observe these things. The average person doesn't observe that he's being observed. Yeah, not by me, okay, but I'm a I'm a I'm a kind-hearted observer. Okay, I want your wellness. No, you're being observed by the corporate agenda, okay, because they do their observations on marketing, on how to manipulate you in terms of keeping certain market cycles and certain production cycles going. You know, they want to make sure that you guys don't jump off the bandwagon with supporting this or that, or phasing away from this washing detergent, just to be euphemistic here. Or, yeah, they don't want you to stop buying their guns. So they will come up with all kinds of incredible insanity that they'll put out into the world. And people will latch on to this. They hear this, they hear some talk radio asshole talk about it, they idolize those people, and immediately they'll jump on the bandwagon. And it wouldn't matter if Rush Limbaugh or Glenn Beck said to you, um, you better let me say something that cannot be dangerous, because whatever I might say now will probably also be just blindly taken and tried out. So that's why I have to be so incredibly careful what I say to the public. One has to be so incredibly careful, because people will actually do something like this. So to use a ridiculous example, if Glenn Beck said to you that his dick got bigger because, as it's just an example now, stupid example, because he rubbed some soy milk on it. Because I'm not going to use an example that will propagate the corporate agenda. Okay, so uh, propagate the and propagate environmentalism. So, but it's neutral enough so to for his followers, and they go, oh, he rubbed soy milk on his penis, and then they immediately go like they want to try that too, and they're gonna do that too, and then it's like mind over matter, like the placebo effect, and then it might even work. Oh, but that's how the audience is of Glenn Beck or any of these people. Michael Savage. I'm not saying that I don't agree with them on anything. So there are certain things that I agree with them on, because I'm not left and I'm not right. I'm not even center. I'm not in a political center or anything. I am I might happen to agree with something on either side or anywhere, in any kind of, there's things that I agree with the Jehovah's Witness. That doesn't make me a Jehovah's Witness. Okay, so the bad outweighs the good in the Jehovah's Witnesses and the Mormons and any of these people, any of these groups, calls, political parties, football teams. I don't even like competition sports at all, particularly not with animals. When they make animals run and I can't stand it. It should be outlawed. So I think, like the majority of things that humans do, or I am not in agreement with. But then once in a while, May there may be even someone who I absolutely hate or don't completely disagree with, and he might say, "Oh, I tried whatever, I drank some watermelon juice, tasted good." Yeah, that I will agree with, or he'll say, "Oh, I like breathing oxygen, feels good." Yeah, I agree with that. So, and then I will say to him, don't log any more trees, okay? If you like to fill your lungs with oxygen, don't cut any more trees. Don't do any more overfishing, okay? We get the majority of oxygen from the oceans, actually, like 60%. But the other, on land, the plants give us oxygen. That's the other 40%. So don't take that for granted, ever. Humans are destroying this planet right in front of our eyes, okay? It's not just some kind of conspiracy theory. It's happening in front of your eyes. It's happening. Pesticides are causing testicular cancer, okay? So it's happening. Look at it. Okay? Cancer rate has increased by over 400%. And it is, you see the statistics. They have established the statistical graphs. You can clearly follow this. Since the introduction of Roundup and other harsh pesticides and the increase of the pesticide use in all agriculture around the world, okay, you can clearly see the statistical graphs. And it is almost it's a correlation coefficient of one, like of 100%. So it's a positive correlation. With the increase in pesticide use, in absolutely parallel to that is the increase of particularly testicular cancer and also other types. So breast cancer as well. And I lost a woman to breast cancer. I lost my best friend Birgit. And I know why. Because of pesticides and pollutants all over the place. They get everywhere. They get into everything. And it's a shock for me to see that the corruption even in so-called stewardship groups where they're supposed to take care of the environmental situation. Even they jump on that bandwagon. I've seen it with my own eyes locally. It's a scandal without, I mean, it's like out of proportion. It's scandalous. I'm so glad that I was able to stop that one woman from using a specific pesticides on the wetlands. She was almost going to do this. Almost going to do it in the name of invasive species removal. My goodness, my goodness. And the average person, the people that will, whatever, they're bored, they want to join a group, they all join these stewardship groups and they all just do everything that grant writer, selfish AF, I don't want to say the F word. I mean, as selfish as it gets. The grant writer will just do anything for grant money. And Barack Obama put the wrong people into office and he completely facilitated Monsanto and the use of pesticides and increased this for the government, also for governmental officials use and everything, all the way down the line into local stewardship groups. I mean, it's a scandal beyond imagination, but people don't know it because they're not interested in this. This kind of stuff is not talked about. Glenn Beck would never talk about this. No. It went so far that a Monsanto official or lobbyist, the Monsanto lobbyist got into a real high position or the highest position in Greenpeace. I mean, it's like this group used to like the earth and the whales. That guy has managed to turn this organization inside out. He has eaten that organization alive. It's dead now. It's a zombie. Okay, so it's just giving you just a few examples on how shit is cooking in the world. It's cooking because the majority of people lean back and say, "Heh, smoke one, and everything is relative anyway. It doesn't matter. It's all cool." No, it's not cool. It's not cool at all. It's not cool at all to see whales swimming into a river. And we've seen the whales, the mother and the baby in the river. It's heartbreaking. And I know why that they swim in the river, because of active sonar conducted by the US Navy. They don't even need that technology because satellite technology works better for heat plume detection from submarines. And why do they continue to use active sonar that destroys the lungs and the eardrums of whales and makes them bleed and die a gruesome death? Why do they continue to use it? Because of a production perpetuation. This stuff is being produced by one of these weapon manufacturers. I don't know which one, Lockheed Martin, Boeing, or some others. And they just simply don't want to lose the contract with the military complex. They don't want to lose this perpetuated customer. They don't want to lose the money that comes in for these devices. That's how disconnected the market perpetuation and the corporate agenda and the lobbying has become, where there's absolutely there's no more connection between these people's brains and their outside environment. They have completely lost touch with everything. This is important, what I'm saying here. This is important. This is information that is marginalized at best and silenced. And people targeted and shot and assassinated at worst. Okay, so, and this is happening. Okay, I started to get into politics. I was never really a fan of politics until George W. Bush got elected. That's when, because we all naively thought, oh yeah, Al Gore is going to get elected. That'd be awesome. That's just the next logical conclusion, right? From the cosmos view. But people that are disconnected, the corporate agenda, no, they don't want Al Gore. He will stop their market perpetuation. They want to keep the gruesome stuff going because it makes money. So so what did they do? They have a lot of leverage. They see you on the internet. They see how they manipulate you, and they got you wrapped around their finger, and they got you voting for who they want you to vote for. Okay, so you voted for George W. Bush. Actually, the majority of people voted for Al Gore. I thank them for that. But it wasn't. There should have been more people that voted for Al Gore. But it was, I don't know, maybe a million people more than George W. Bush. But the corporate agenda. They had already had their plan B and plan C, so they already calculated that in. If that happened, then they will just throw votes out, yes, and that's what they did. Okay? So voter fraud. So that's why Hillary Clinton wanted to get rid of the electoral college, you know, the delegate system. So that was one of the main things that the corporate agenda was terrified of. So they could not let Hillary Clinton get elected. So they did everything they could to prevent that from happening. So just a few examples of what's going on. We have we have global warming happening now, and there is no more return to normal. It is now picking up pace. Even if we stopped every pollution now, it would still take its course now because it has been initiated. So the storms are going to get worse every year. More and more houses are going to be blown down. More and more of your roofing paper is going to come down. And then you have to climb up there again and patch that back together, but you keep on believing what Glenn Beck said. So, because it feels better to the ego. Even if your house blows away, you will stick to Glenn Beck and Rush Limbaugh and Michael Savage, because that is the group you identify yourself with. That's a pity, because this shit affects everyone, every living being, including you. So that's why I'm saying these kind of things, they're beyond politics. But people make it into politics because the corporate agenda, ExxonMobil, makes it into politics. They even make it into the